fonts, this is very interesting because fonts, there's like a lot of things that we can play around in our presentations. Okay, uh, before getting into that, I just want to highlight that there are like four different types of fonts are there. Okay, four major categories: serif, sans serif, and serif, sans serif, scripts, and then the decorative fonts. And typically in all our presentations, we go either with serif or sans serif. Now, in the picture, if you see, like serif is like with what you have, we call it as the tail or feet. In the bottom of the letters, you will see the small extended feet that is added to that. And sans serif, this feet is not there. The feet or the tail is not provided. And there is something called slab serif also. It's a variation of serif where the feet is like very flat. This is, I mean, we'll not talk about script and decorative ones because I mean that would be the readability is an issue with those types, and then they're normally used for cursive handwriting, and decorative would be for many of the invitation designs and all. Now, if you look at a couple of examples of different companies using these serif and then sans serif ones, Uber who uses sans serif, whereas the New York Times and even like now the Hindu, Times of India, all those companies they use serif fonts. And Apple used to have serif fonts, but now I mean in almost in all their websites, if you look at it, but they have changed their the design philosophy into all the sans serif fonts. It's like I mean the normal designers they say is that like if it is a serif fonts, it is like more of very conservative, traditional, and very it's like banks and all. And if you look at the bank. Your logos and all, they have a serif font. And sans serif ones, I mean, they look little modern. They give the modern outlook. That's a two thought processes that are there in the designers. Okay. Now these are all the companies, the logos of companies which are using all the serif fonts. You can look at it, Honda, T-Mobile. They're all like there for like quite some time. I mean, they just want to just keep the traditional or they're like long-standing look. Now all our modern companies, they have their either when they have their logos in this sans serif, or they have been using they have changed their logos into from sans serif, I mean serif to sans serif. You can just look at Google also. This is the, I mean, the Google was having this serif. Now they have changed their logo into sans serif. Now another aspect when it comes to fonts, the spacing of the fonts, like in this image, if you see it, right, I mean, where I have placed, there is a lot of space between each of these letters. Now, you look at this and look at this. So there is a clear differentiation. I mean, it just gives a different effect. Now, which one works for the picture, which one works for the content that you're projecting, you have to just look at, I mean, you have to try it and then see which makes a better impact. So the spacing is important for for the text that you are putting in your slides. And when it comes to spacing, there are three aspects that I mean, just for our understanding, because we need to know what these terminologies are, so that next time when we are designing a slide, we will be able to design it better. So now there's a term called kerning. When it comes to spacing, there are three things that we have to know. One is kerning, another one is tracking, and then the third one is leading. So kerning is between these letters. Like if you look at it, see the space between O and V. This can be adjusted because of the orientation, because of the slanting line of V. I mean, you just look at like in the bottom seems to be having a huge space. Normally, this kerning is used for the logo designs, and we probably don't have to worry for the usual presentations. The kerning normally is used for the logo designs, where the designers play around uh, the letters to make sure that now these lines are all like they all align with the previous letters with the next letters. And tracking is the one that typically the spacing between each word in I mean each letter in a word. The tracking is the spacing between each letter in a word. And leading is the height or the space between two lines. So the leading is the space between the lines, tracking is the space between the letters, and the kerning is again just mainly just to make sure that all the alignment to make it look better in logos and all. Okay. This is the spacing. Now, when it comes to the alignment part, there are three aspects on which we typically use. I mean, we see it in almost all our word processing and then presentation. I mean, any text that we use. I mean, we have left alignment, right alignment, and center alignment. And justified is another thing. Justified is typically used in if you're writing a lot of text, then we use the justified. So left alignment is like your text is aligned to left, right is aligned to right, center is like they're all like yeah, I mean, you know about that. Justified is the space between the words will adjust themselves to make sure that they're all like right and left aligned at the same time. But the space between the words, the letters will not be changed. Okay, so sometimes justified when we should definitely avoid in our presentations because it will give a very awkward look. I'll give you some examples. Now, if you have a picture in your presentation, in your slide, and then you have some text, and if you're keeping the picture on your left, then it is always better to have the left align for your text. And if you have your picture on your right of the slide, then go for the right alignment of the text. And when you have the picture in the top or in the center, then you can go for the center alignment. I mean, that actually gives a little visual attraction, or visually this looks better than just having a improper alignment to the text. Now, another thing when it comes to the size of the font, now can we use the same size of the letters, same size of the letters in all those words? You can see the difference here because on the left hand side of the slide you see the, I mean, when you're using the same size letters, yeah, I mean we are able to read it, but the effect is missing. Okay. But the same ones, when you are able to use different sizes for each of these words, then it gives a little better effect. It gives a little bit of impact. Now, if you want to add some kind of contrast, you can change the color of any one of these words here. I mean, I just here say if you want to emphasize on the word size, then size can be given in a different color. Now let me.